In the beginning, the road exists in the mind of a 19th century philosopher and scholar, Karl Marx, who maintains that only through a system he called communism can the worker and farmer avoid starvation and exploitation. We declare openly, Marx writes, that our ends can only be attained by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions.
This movement is deeper than a solar panel. Deeper than a solar panel. Don't stop there. Don't stop there. No, we're going to change the whole system. We're going to change the whole thing. We're not going to put a new battery in a broken system. We want a new system. We want a new system.
Thus the road begins. Many who walk the road know its origins well. Many do not. Some things must be known about the road by those who do not travel it. This is a one-way street. The signposts along the way do not describe the true destinations, and nearly everyone who sets foot or wheel on this road goes all the way to the end, for there are few exits, only difficult, dangerous escapes.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Power passes to the Soviet, which Lenin controls, and from there to the Council of Commissars, where Lenin's power is absolute.
This is the dictatorship of the proletariat, a power won and maintained by violence, power that is unrestricted by any law, resting directly on force. Keep this well in mind.
We go through the gate's closed, we'll go over the fence is too high, we'll pole vault in. If that doesn't work, we'll parachute in, but we're going to get healthcare reform passed.
For the monarchy, the Tsar and his family are executed. And the Cheka, first of many Soviet secret police groups, becomes active. Arrest without charge, imprisonment or exile without trial, disappearance without explanation, all become routine. But Lenin complains.
There is still too little ruthlessness. Not because we lack determination, but because we do not know how to capture enough profiteers, marauders, capitalists.
We know that the free market is nonsense. We know that the whole point is to game the system, to beat the market, or at least find someone who'll pay you a lot of money because they're convinced that there is a free lunch. We know this is largely about power, that it's an adults-only, no-limit game. We kind of agree with Mao that political power comes largely from the barrel of a gun.
The signposts along the road read, peace, freedom, and bread, because they understood that freedom and bread could be theirs only when peace was obtained. The workers and sailors of Kronstadt have fought a bloody civil war. Now, on March 7th, 1921, they mill in the streets, asking for freedom and bread. Finally, at 6:45 in the evening, Trotsky, commander of the Red Army, who ordered the slaughter, gives the only explanation.
It was necessary.
To the Obama administration and its so-called hit list. Yes, our president has a hit list of American citizens like you targeted for assassination.
Lenin and Trotsky are now firmly in power. The Cheka is abolished. In its place comes the OGPU, or political police. And to check on the OGPU, there is Rabkrin, the Workers' and Peasants' Inspection Group, whose chief is Joseph Stalin.
I mean, you signed 200+ laws into being since you're in office. You have financial reform has taken place. You got a health care. I mean, you've put 2 women on the Supreme Court. I could go on and on about your accomplishments. And yet the right wing, through Fox News and other outlets, they seem to be hijacking the narrative. Where, on your side, is the narrative? Where is your attack dog to come out and tell the American people, listen, this is what we did?
Joy, that's your job.
From 1928 to 1941, Russia's industrial capacity rises nearly 300%. Our hydroelectric output is up nearly 800%. Agriculture production lags, however, and housing actually fails to keep pace with the population increase. If you're an average Russian, this means more work, not enough to eat, and less living space per family. If you don't work hard enough, or if you complain, there are plenty of trains to Siberia, where many hydroelectric dams are being built. These are also the years of the great executions called Yezhovshchina, in honor of Stalin's executioner, N.I. Yezhov. How many people are permanently removed from circulation? No one knows. In some provinces, as much as 4% of the population vanishes.
A number of people who cannot be prosecuted for past crimes. In some cases because evidence may be tainted, but who nonetheless pose a threat to the security of the United States.
Kamenev and Zinoviev, who helped Stalin seize power, are quickly disposed of. To have been a friend of either one of them is now a crime. For this and related activities, well over half of the top communist leadership and thousands of lesser officials vanish, as do most of the army officers. A very few of Yezhov's victims are given trials.
President Obama today proposed something new, something called prolonged detention.
In our constitutional system, prolonged detention should not be the decision of any one man. If and when we determine that the United States must hold individuals to keep them from carrying out an act of war, we will do so within a system that involves judicial and congressional oversight. And so going forward, my administration will work with Congress to develop an appropriate legal regime, so that our efforts are consistent with our values and our Constitution.
Announcing a radical new claim of presidential power that is not afforded by the Constitution and that has never been attempted in American history, even by George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. Standing inside the National Archives in front of the actual original Constitution, President Obama delivered a blistering critique of the Bush administration, in which he called their actions and their legacy literally a mess. An ad hoc legal approach for fighting terrorism that was neither effective nor sustainable. Ouch. Then, moments later, he announced his own ad hoc legal approach for fighting terrorism. The idea that we might find ourselves fighting with the Obama administration over these powers is really stunning. And it is stunning, particularly to hear President Obama claim the power to keep people in prison indefinitely with no charges against them, no conviction, no sentence, just imprisonment. It's particularly stunning to hear him make that claim in the middle of a speech that was all about the rule of law. You'll construct a legal regime to make indefinite detention legal. You will, what does he say? Develop an appropriate legal regime.
Legal regime.
So you can construct a whole new system outside the courts, even outside the military commissions, so that you can indefinitely imprison people without charges. And you'll build that system from scratch. What's that somebody said about ad hoc legal strategies?
Subversion is, of course, an important technique of communist conquest. Czechoslovakia in 1948 is an established democracy in Eastern Europe. Suddenly, a rash of strikes. Conservative elements are forced to resign from the cabinet. Communist deputies pound their desks. As the street demonstrations reach riot proportions, police brutality in putting down the riots is charged, and the communists take over the police.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
The choice is not red or dead. The choice lies between ignorance and wisdom, cowardice and bravery, slavery or freedom.